underestimating what you've taken on. I'm out of the cage, 'cause you opened the door. You're as innocent as gold. 'Cause if you're falling for me, just be one. 'Cause I don't think you're ready for it. I'm not the one to mess around. No, I don't think you're ready for it. Too many people done wrong. 'Cause I don't think you're ready for it. You best believe that time's up. I'm a murderer. You made a mistake, underestimating what we would become. And now an escape is impossible. You're as innocent as gold. 'Cause if you're falling for me, just be one. If you're falling for me, I'm not the one to mess around. The one to mess up. Too many people done wrong. And you best believe that time's up. I'm a murderer. I'm a
Come bring it further.
Welcome back! Eternal Dragon here with an update to my Iced Akimbo build. Iced Akimbo version 2.0, Ice Age Akimbo. Now, before we get into the meat and potatoes of the video here, we are going to give a huge shout out to a few of my friends in the community. Crickle Slack, dude, thank you so much for your help on the build here. Ryan the Beast Gamer, man, you're awesome. Big Jeff, I cannot believe the help you gave me on this one. Dude, thank you so much. And Ripper of Bong for getting me off my butt, reminding me I even had this build in the first place, and showing me your skill tree so that I could try to work something out myself. Thank you so much, guys. Now, let's get into this. And hey, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Really helps the channel. I need it. So let's take a look here. Now, we had focused, as you can see, on the liquid cooling before, but after the nerf, we needed to do something different, something better, something more damaging, and a lot more fun. So what did we do? Hey, look, we farmed ourselves a primordial nightshade. Look at this thing. absolutely fantastic weapon, times 4, fully automatic. This thing can apply crits like crazy for you with our skill tree, and that is going to be super duper important for refreshing all of our spells constantly. Over in the melee slot, we have a spell blade, and this thing is going to be able to take advantage of all of our boosted spell damage, transforming it into awesome melee strikes, and also with Echo, translating all of the damage that we've dealt over time. You can see it right there, melee attacks, 10% of all non-melee damage. That's our spells, folks. Dealt by the Fate Maker, boom, huge slaps with this spell blade. So our main gun here, you see we've got Enchanted with Spellcast, elemental damage 20% for 5 seconds. And over here on the Spellblade, we have Frost damage on Spellcast, 30% for 5 seconds. Those are going to be triggered pretty much at all times with the amount of spells we'll be casting. Now the other guns that we have on the build, these are all for utility. This is really your main weapon that you're going to be using, and I'll show you what these are for in just a moment. Over here in the ring slots, we have one championship ring so that when you deal damage to a boss, we can increase our spell damage immediately. And one mood ring, as our shield is going to be broken at almost all times, so hey, get more spell damage there as well. For an armor, we got this amazing Primordial Cape of Tides. Check this thing out. It has +3 to the skill that everybody wants right now. And that's over here in the Spell Shot skill tree. Double Knot, where we will be double dipping and maxing out on crazy gun damage and spell damage for the build. Now we see we also got the movement speed on there, all damage dealt and spell damage. This was just fantastic, folks. Now this is the newer armor, and what it does is apply a debuff so that every time you get a critical hit, you have a chance to soak your target with a Water Nova. Increase the duration of all soaked effects by 76%. That's special for the armor. And your soaked enemies are taking 150% damage from lightning and frost. And folks, we're going to go crazy with cryo on this build. Up here, we have a Cursed Wit. When this thing breaks, we're getting 100% increased damage to nearby enemies. And we've got an Enchanted with when your health is below 50%, you can regenerate health and gain 30% additional damage. We have a way to trigger that at almost all times as well. Right here we have a Sacrificial Skeep. Now we have all damage dealt on this thing with Loot Luck, Frost damage, and Spell Shot power to increase the power of our spells as far as we can on this thing. And additionally, that Skeep is going to just give you something to shoot at if you ever go down by accident. Gives you a little target, helps you out. Now let's take a look at the spells. These two spells are the focus of the build. One of them Enchanted with on spellcast increase your gun damage, and the other one with the special Spell Shot enchantment. After you cast a spell, increase your gun damage 20% and fire rate by 30% for a short duration. So you see we're feeding right back into the gun damage as well as the overall spell damage with everything here. Now, I talked about these all being utility. Let's take a quick look at that. So the first utility weapon, we have a Hydra gun. Now, normally we're going to throw this thing just to build up our spell weaving stacks, but these Hydras can also shoot and crit on enemies, which will apply the soaked status effect for you, which is just a huge bonus. And they're also really great just for like a little couple extra hits here and there, but we're not really focusing on damage from these for the build, or else this would be a pixie build, so we're not doing that. Here we have our Nightshade, just the standard gun. And then over here in the third slot, now this is a Gluttony, and I talked about a way to trigger that enchantment before. You see, when we throw the Gluttony, it cuts our life in half. And interestingly, we're going to spawn a Skeep right away. The Skeep, as you can see, can also heal us, which it just did. And so, basically, anytime you want to turn on your enchantment, just make sure you don't have the Skeep healing you. And boom, we now have the enchantment on the Cursed Wit turned on simply by throwing the Gluttony. And then finally, if you just want to add some spell weaving stacks really quickly, I mean, everybody's been doing it, but it works really well. You use your Masterwork Handbow, and so just boom, 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 you see your spell stacks. They go right up to maximum really, really quick with the fast reloads on this thing. And then we have our spells. Now, when you're mobbing, we also have some Trickster's Ice Spikes. Now those are on the build because they will bounce back and forth between the mobs, and you can clear out entire areas very, very quickly with even just one of these equipped. So most of the time I'm playing with just one Trickster's Ice Spike equipped and one of my triple ice spikes. And when I go for bossing, I'll put both of the triple ice spikes on and really max out that damage. So let's go over to skills. So taking a look in skills here, we have gone over to Ambihextrous, and we are a spell shot Stabomancer. Now we have maxed out magic bullets because all of your spell damage getting turned into gun damage is just fantastic for you. Lots and lots more damage, faster reloads here, and we're going for spell critical hit chance because right down here at the bottom we really want to max out our opportunities to get critical hits and refresh our spells with this build. Right here, mage armor, so that we can increase our shield anytime we get a spell weaving stack or anytime we reload a weapon. That just really helps during boss fights, get those little chunks of shield back immediately rather than waiting for your shield regen to start. And additional fire rate, boom boom, shoot faster. Glass cannon, increasing your spell damage, which feeds directly into your spells and back into magic bullets. And then high thread count, so that we can get as many spell weaving stacks as we can. We get +3 from this. And then over here, imbued weapon, again whenever we cast a spell, additional damage on the gun anytime. And then over here, double knot, right? Critical hit with a spell. And then we get additional gun damage, or so we deal additional bonus gun damage of our gun's element there. So damage and damage feeding into ourselves over and over there, and then we have 1 slot 1 kill, and this is again more gun damage for all of your spell weaving stacks here, which we are again raising. Spell weaving, of course, being this right here, whenever we cast a spell or reload we gain spell weaving, and you can see it increases our spell damage, stack duration of 10, max stacks 5 originally to start, and then we're pumping that up. Right here we have Sever the Thread. This is so that whenever we get gun critical hits, of which we have a huge amount of chances using the Nightshade, we can refresh our spells. Now over on the Stabomancer side, we are increasing melee spell and gun damage with Arsenal. And then over here to Potent Poison so that we can apply status effects. I mean, they're not hugely important, but the damage is a lot better than what you would be getting out of Haste and Swift Death for this particular build. We do have a little bit of points here in Swift Death, but that was primarily just to move down, as we really didn't need anything in follow-up, and Nimble Fingers wasn't anything that we really needed to focus on either. Now, over here in Exploit the Weakness, of course, when you do apply additional status effect, we're increasing damage dealt. So when we apply the Soaked status effect, and when we apply the Cryo status effect, we will be getting additional damage. And any other spells that you might want to try out, or any other little things that you add to the build. I mean, you could trigger additional damage here, but you don't really need it. And then down here we put 3 points into Contagion, just so that when we're firing our Nightshade, there is the chance that we can trigger some absolutely crazy DOT deaths on some enemies as well. I'm sure you've seen quite a few builds floating around this week that are making the most out of this particular skill. And I mean, the best way to make the most out of it is to diversify your elements as much as possible, apply a bunch of different DOTs, try to stack them, and then just watch the life drain out of an enemy. So that's not completely the focus for this build, but you know, you see we have a couple little things on here. If you did want to focus on that just a little bit, then we do also have a very nice dark magic gun there, or a spell there, and gun right here. And we do also have a poison gun here if you just want to try to spread it around. The donkey is kind of one of the better guns overall for that skill, just for stacking and shooting, stacking and shooting. Okay, so that's the build, folks. That is Iced Akimbo. This is a build that just wrecks the entire game. I hope you guys all have a ton of fun with it. I hope the explanation made sense. Feel free to hit me up in the comments here. And don't forget, I play live over on Twitch quite a few days a week now. So if you ever want to come over, hang out, we have a link up in the banner bar at the top. Beyond that, can't wait to see you on the next one. Happy gaming. Just wanted to also show this part of the skill tree. I completely forgot to show it as I was doing the first part of the video. Just for anyone who wanted to see it. You see we have the additional crit damage there, higher crit chance. higher status damage, and then just your standard stuff here.